Okay.
Hello everyone. We fucking done it. We made it to number 2. Eventually. Right. Let's clear the big massive bastard and the elephant in the room. Yeah, I said I was going to do this every week. I said it was going to come out every Wednesday, and that didn't happen. We're now late. So, fucking hell, I'm recording and a fire engine just came into the street. What's going on? What the fuck's going on? It's not got the lights on, so it must be alright. Anyway, fucking hell, that was what a dramatic way to start. Yeah, I'm going to start this week off with an apology. Yeah, I fucked up with the first podcast, let's be honest. I listened back to it and I just didn't think it was very funny. I didn't think it was very good, or it was very entertaining actually. It was just sort of, I don't know. It seemed like somebody who didn't really know how to podcast, and I feel as if I do know how to podcast. So I didn't feel it was a good representation of what I could have done. So anyway, we're now here, and we're going to do the podcast properly. So we'll take the first episode as sort of like a pilot, and this is going to be the proper way that the podcast is going to run now. This is how we want it to sound. It's going to be much better. So, I wonder what the fuck happened with that fire engine. I wonder what's going on. Should we evacuate? It's way around the corner. Anyway, let's start the way. This is going to be a completely new sort of podcast. It's not going to be like the first one. It's going to stick to the same sort of format, but it's not going to be totally like the first one. But one thing that will not change is my shameless plugging. So, my new album, With the Absence of Light, is out now. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on Amazon Music, it's on Deezer, it's on wherever the fuck you can stream your music. As long as you do it, not illegally, and nick it off of YouTube, because then I get paid fuck all for it, and I need money. I need the money. So it was listed in 2018's top 100 albums by Small Music Scene, so it must be alright. I like it, and a lot of other people seem to like it as well, so hopefully you do as well if you've not heard it. You can also get my debut EP on there if you're not into the more darker stuff and you're into the sort of poppy side of things. Yeah, you can go and listen to my debut EP, which is Robots and Machines, which has been doing very well in the last month actually, very surprisingly. A lot of people obviously just going back and listening to it, so thank you very much if you've done that. And yeah, so let's push on today. Oh no, shit, no, forgot the rest of the ad stuff to do. Instagram at Craig Russellhorn, Facebook, just Craig Russellhorn. The photo of the guy in the balaclava, that's me. It's not some sort of terrorist or organised crime organisation. It's me, a musician. Maybe it might be terrorism for your ears, but terrorism for your ears. Anyway, regardless, that's me. And on Twitter at CRH_music. Right, that's how you do the ads properly. Tell you, those ads will get better week on week. I'll actually be able to, speak like a proper human and fire through it. But yeah, let's jump into the first topic, which used to be like just music updates. Now I'm just going to call it music chat now, because I'm just going to talk about stuff that's going on. So let's move into the music chat, shall we? So the other thing to sort of address, firstly, as we move into the music chat, I said I was going to do a blog to like review music and stuff like that, and I just kind of felt as if I wasn't equipped to talk about music, rightly or wrongly, other people's music, and I'm going to leave that to review. It's a pretty thankless business being somebody who's a reviewer, and I get that. I don't hate reviewers. I like when people say that my music's shit, and I like it when they say it's good. because it kind of lets me move on to where I want to go. With the Absence of Light would never have been made if it wasn't for people saying that robots and machines just kind of lack substance, which I totally get. It was the first record that I made, you know what I mean? So, under the kind of electronic projects, I just realised it was a bit of a thankless task. And I thought, I'm not in the position to say what is good and what is bad about music. And I thought, I'm never really someone who shies away from my opinion, and I thought that for me to then give my proper opinion on other people's music, like my proper, unadulterated opinion, I could have really just started shelling people's music, and that's not the right thing to do. If you're gonna put yourself up as a reviewer, then you're kind of going for that, do you know what I mean? Not to shell people's music, but I mean, you're kind of ready to go, right, well, I'll take the flack that comes with it. And I was sort of like, well, I'm a musician myself, and I don't really think that putting flack onto somebody else is really fair. So that was it. That was essentially it. I just thought I can't do this, and I thought if I'm going to talk about music, I might as well stop not being negative, and I might as well talk about music that I actually really am listening to and really enjoying, and talk about that like I would in a blog. And that's what I'm going to do, you know, when I do the thing when I'm talking about the music that I've listened to this week. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to be positive about it. There's no point being negative and talking about all that sort of stuff. So that's the first thing. The blog just isn't going to happen. You know, I thought it was a good idea. I actually kind of thought the reason why I was going to do it was because it would have maybe pursued or pushed a career in trying to get into the media industry. But then I thought, nah, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to kind of just, I mean, use the word again, shell people's music for my own gain. So the blog's not happening. So if you're looking forward to the blog, then fuck you. Last couple of weeks have been very, very busy for your Uncle Craig. I'm working on a new album, or a new EP. Don't really know yet. It's got a working title. I ain't going to tell you that working title, but it's got a working title. I don't know what it's going to be. It's more than likely going to be an album, but you know, I'm keeping my opinions open with it, and that will come out in 2020. Oh, that's the aim. We're aiming to have it out by 2020. So yeah, I've just been working on that, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying making this new sound. It just sounds great, really. I've kind of taken the experience of both the EP and the album, and going forward and making this, and then also with what I've been doing and my producing side of things, I've kind of learned off that as well. So just kind of pushing forward with that. And that's what I said. I don't know when you're going to hear anything, but I'm hoping for the album to be released in 2020, which means that hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well, you'll hear a single by the end of the year. But I mean, listen, if you've been sat here and I've just broke your heart because the blog's not happening, you know not to trust me. You should know not to trust me. It's probably you probably won't hear it by the end of the year, and I apologise for that. But again, fuck you. Going on to the other thing that I've kind of, if you follow my Instagram, I've been talking in very like masked words. Like, I've got this record thing coming out this year, but it's not my shite, right? If you've heard me talk about it, right, I'm doing the filming for it just now. I'm filming the thing that I've no talked about, but I have talked about, because I've no spoke about it, because see, it's that confusing. Just know I'm filming something, alright? That's fucking it. I'm filming something. Tomorrow, which will be today when you listen to this, I'm going to be back producing with Billy. We're working on a new single for him, so new Billy Got Waves single, going to be produced by your old dad over here. I'm really looking forward to it. It sounds fucking amazing at the minute, so we're just kind of tightening it all up, and then we've got another one to work on as well, so that's going to be happening. As soon as I get off this podcast, I'm going to go and start booking gigs, and honestly, I need to get back out and gigging. I'll talk about the gigs that I've seen this week, but it just made me think, oh shit, I need to get back. I need to get back to doing gigs. So, but I'm not. My problem is that I run too heavy at things very, very early on, and then sometimes my eyes are bigger than my stomach, sort of idea. That kind of thing. Like, I run at these ideas maybe a bit preemptively, so I'm not going to be. So when I thought about, right, I need to start booking gigs, I thought, no, I'll sit back and think, what do you actually want to do? Like, don't just take a gig just because you want to do one. Sit back and kind of take stock. And, I thought, I'm not going to ask people to come and pay for a show. It's just stupid. I was actually talking to John Ross, who I know listens to this, so shout out to you and all that, but we were talking. John Ross is from Made of Eyes. I should just, instead of just fucking dropping some random cunt's name. John Ross is in the band Made of Eyes, and we were talking about how, like, gigging at this early stages of careers for RTB. That fire engine's just left, by the way. I don't know if you heard the big ksh, but it's fucked off. So we're all good. I'm not burning. But yeah, we were fucking loud, big bastard, innit? Anyway. What was I talking about? John Ross, Made Eyes. We were talking about how, gigging, when people actually don't want to turn up to your gigs, you're forcing people to come along to your gigs. You're pushing, and every musician knows what I'm talking about. You're pushing it to your friends because you know that you need to get the numbers, or the promoter won't book you again, and all that bullshit, right? That comes with with people who work in that space in the music business. And I understand why they're doing it, because they need to make the cash as well. But it's a thankless task just being like to your friends, like, oh, will you come to my gig, please? And they've never heard any of your fucking songs, and they're literally just there to stand there for a drink. Don't think I grudge you for all the people who've came and done that with me over the years, because I don't. Like, I totally understand that you're there to support me in the most literal terms. You're there to support me as your friend or whatever, but you're not there to support me as a musician, because you probably don't give a fuck. So with the booking gigs scenario, I'm going to be booking free gigs. That's the idea. I'm going to be looking at Box and Block in Glasgow, who both do free venues. I think Maggie Mays does one as well. Does free shows. And then Edinburgh as well. Whistle Binkies. What was the other one? Is it Harry's Cabaret Bar or something like that? It looks like a wee tiny stage. Stramash as well does a free show. Free show gigs during the week and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get that done, because I want people to. I'm not going to be like, come to my gig, like, and because I need to sell the tickets. Just come down, man. I need to play the album. I need to try and sort of understand what I'm doing with it live properly, considering I've only played the album live once, and that was in Edinburgh at the Voodoo Rooms. So I just need to get on with that. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, but maybe towards the end of April. But what's the date today? I think today's the 9th, isn't it? Yeah, today's the 9th that I'm recording this, and you'll get this on the 10th. So you know what I mean? There's an awful lot of time left in the month. So maybe something at the end of the month would be cool, but definitely in May I'll be back. Because like I said, I've got nothing to. I'm working on an album just now, and I'm working on demos. I'm not in any kind of last stage of it, and I'm in very, very early writing stages, so it's quite easy for me just to walk away for a bit and go and do a couple of shows and then come back and pick it up. We're in no rush with it. So, but yeah, if you know me, that anytime that I've got a gig coming up, get onto my Facebook page. I mean, it will go on Instagram and it will go on Twitter and all that, but the links to tickets and all that sort of stuff, all of the really important details always goes on Facebook. So I know not a lot of people use Facebook anymore. I know it is mostly through Instagram, but Facebook's the most official way to do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I said, no opening ads. If you're wanting to come to a gig, and if you're actually interested in seeing when gigs are going to be happening, you will hear about it on Instagram and Twitter, but the best place to get it is on my Facebook, which is Craig Russell Horn, and like I said, Guy in the Balaclava. That's the page you're looking for. Yeah, that's everything from the music chat, pretty much. I'll talk about music that I've been listening to later on, but I'm going to drop in another little point. another little segment of the podcast, which we're just going to call Today's Thought. Today's Thought. Today's Thought. So essentially all this segment is going to be, it's just me talking absolute drivel. It's literally just something that when I woke up this morning, I mean, I've been up since 6:30 this morning. We're now at, just past 9:30 in the morning. And what I'll do before I'm about to do the podcast is I'll just open up a note in my phone and just go, what am I thinking about this morning? So this is today's thought. I've been thinking about sort of like my two-year plan, 1 year to 2 year plan. What do I want to do in that 1 to 2 years? And that's not to do with music, and that's not to do all that stuff, because that stuff always has its separate plan. But I was like, what else do we want to add? What do we want to add to the arsenal? What do I want to achieve within these next 2 years, just as a person, really? And last year, I'll probably talk about it in a podcast, later on, but you can go and listen to With the Absence of Light and you'll get a pretty idea of how I was feeling in 2018. Pretty fucking shite, right? And you'll get that, and I kind of didn't expect to be here, as dramatic as that sounds, but that's kind of the truth. I kind of didn't expect to be here, and that's what I said. I'll probably talk about that in a later podcast, but that was why I released an EP and an album within a year. I done 15 songs in 1 year, which for any musician is a pretty fucking big turnaround. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't just do music. I work as well. I'm not just constantly sat about making music all the time. As much as I'd love to do that, but I can't. So it was quite a. I kind of crammed everything in, to that year, because like I said, I didn't know how it would end up. And obviously I was so accomplished. It felt so accomplishing. Do you know what I mean? I've been making music since I was like 15. Never made an album before. Made 3 EPs. Yeah, 3 EPs in my entire life. And I thought, fuck it, I want an album, and that's why I made it. So I've just been thinking about stuff that I want to do. So like one of the things was a podcast. I wanted to actually do a proper podcast. Like I said, do it every single week. Obviously with the exception of last week, because the first one was shite. So that's why we're now into the second one here. But I feel like I've got it pretty much locked down, and my notes for it are much better, and I feel like that the segments are better, and I feel like the stuff that I'm talking about is going to be better, and also because it's going to be funner, because I'm just going to kind of let go, I'm just going to riff into the mic, and I'm happy that I've got that. I really want to keep on this. I think 2 hours of it's usually going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours of my day just sat talking pish, and that's and there's not many things I like doing more. So for me to do that this was one of the things that I was like, right, you're going to keep this up, keep it up for at least a year, get to 52 episodes of your podcast, and if you get to, or let's say 50. If I get to 50 episodes of a podcast and go, right, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore, then that's fine. At least I gave it a good shot. So there's that, and then I just started to think about other things. What do I want to do? So one thing that, obviously, because there's a full segment on it in the podcast, is films, and I thought I really, really want to make a short film at one point. I've done screenwriting stuff before, and I've written scripts and I've written ideas for short films and stuff, but again, just never really committed to getting them made. And I want to make a film, but I was like, I've kind of lost a lot of my ideas for films and that kind of thing. And remember last week, or the last podcast I should say, I was talking about that Love, Death and Robots, that David Fincher program. I watched the whole thing and holy fuck, it was amazing. And it really inspired me because it's like short episodes. Like I said, it's only 15 minutes, 18 minutes sort of stuff, so you can batter through it, which I done. And I thought it's like little short stories made into this series of short episodes, and that kind of lit something up in my head, and I was like, I would really like to write a book. And I know it's like, it's fucking crazy. It's like, it seems stupid, I get that. But like I said, from where I was last year, I was like, I want to come out the end of this with stuff that I'm proud of, like an album, you know, and an album's such a big thing, and to tick that off in the achievements, you know, was a real milestone for me, and it's something I'll always remember. I'm always going to remember when I made my first album, do you know what I mean? And that was something that I'll look back on and I'll be really proud of. You know, I'm actually... I'm trying to get CDs made up for when I actually do proper shows, so I can, you know, sell the album on merch tables and stuff. But first and foremost, I just want a copy of it. I want to get like a shoebox and just fill it with stuff that I'm kind of proud of, and that's I'm proud of things that I've achieved. You know, I would put a copy of my dissertation in there and all that sort of stuff. I'd put all that kind of things in it, just to kind of make me remember, like, look at all the stuff you've achieved. Just when you sit there and think, fuck, like, I've done fuck all, do you know what I mean? I've kind of had that for a long time with the music thing, because, like I said, I'm having to look to do free shows, because I can probably get fucking hardly anyone to turn up to it. You know, I had to spend an awful lot of money to get people to even listen to my album and my EP in the fucking first place, you know, so sometimes you sit there and go like, oh, man, like, what have you actually achieved? And that's why I'm going to make this little shoebox of things that I've achieved. So, anyway, running off on a tangent again, but with the whole idea of doing, like, a short film sort of thing, I want to write a book of short stories, like 10 short stories, and it would probably be less than, like, 50 pages, but 10 short stories, and go through them and read, and, like, write them out, and just take an idea, run with it, write it in that, put these 10 into a book, which I would, like, sell in paperback. Like, I've already kind of looked into it. I know, it's mad. I know, it's just, I've got a very contrarian mind in that sort of sense. But write a book of these short stories. Pick one that, like, really, like, I go, fuck, that's a great story. Almost like an album, do you know what I mean? Like, pick a song and go, fuck, that's a really good track. Do that with the short stories and make it into a film. Or like a short film. That's my kind of, my thought process, and, you know, and that would be another thing that I could add into the box, like a paperback. Imagine having my own paperback book that I'd written. Do you know, it just seems a bit fucking mental, and that's why I like it. That's why I like the idea of it. And then to make a film off of the book, you know, or maybe a series of short films. It's just things like that would make me go, like, that's a really fucking cool thing to do. How many people can say that? How many people can say that they've written a book, and how many people can say that off of that book they made a short film out of it? You know, it's just something that I would like to say that I'd done. And then two other things that I've wanted to do for a long time as well is I want to make, firstly, I'm fucking shite at drawing. Fucking terrible at drawing. I've got an alright eye for photography, but not brilliant. But I want to do something that's a piece of art. And again, not to, like, sell it or anything like that, just to add into the box. A little piece of art, a little collection of art, and just go, there we go. Do you know what I mean? Like, there we go, I made that, and I've called it this, and this is what it is. It's just, and again, just to add to this little thing, idea of stuff that I've achieved. And I want to make something in fashion as well. I want to design a t-shirt and actually buy the t-shirt and actually fucking wear the t-shirt and get people to kind of hopefully come up and go, where's that t-shirt from? Or, like, that's quite cool, I like the design on that t-shirt, and, like, where'd you get that from? And they'll be like, it's me. You know, like, that's my sort of, just this sort of thing, just being constantly creative and just making things, and come at the end of my life to be able to tell my fucking kids and my grandkids, like, what did you do during your 20s? Like, well, I went to university, realised that it was probably a bit of a fucking waste of time, but I came at the end of it with a degree and all that, and people were like, oh yeah, very congratulations, you know. But then I could also go, yeah, but as much as I got that, I also done a fucking album. I also wrote a book. I've also done this little tiny collection of art that, you know, which I'd done when I was younger as well. And I made some. Here's some t-shirts that I made as well. Do you know what I mean? I just want those kind of stories. Maybe it's just that kind of chasing for legacy sort of idea. I don't know, but I just kind of want. I don't know. Just to go, look. Here's a fucking collection of really weird stuff. really crazy but creative stuff that I can look back on and be proud of. Imagine having a fucking paperback book. That's the kind of thing that I keep thinking. Not to sell it, not to like show it off to people and be like, oh yes, I'm an author now. Like that kind of thing. Just to go... Like I said, when I'm like fucking 80, I can go into a shoebox and go, oh, I mind when I wrote a fucking book. Do you know what I mean? Just that was a fucking mad idea, wasn't it? Just like that. Just things like that. I just think that would be cool. Anyway, that was my first thought of today. But the second thing that I had down, I was listening to LBC this morning, which is Leading Britain's Conversation. I think that's the actual name of it. But this is the show that James O'Brien's on and all that. You know, it's quite a political programme. Which, if you've listened to With the Absence of Light again, you'll get that I'm quite up on the whole political stuff. And they were talking about... Right, firstly, I'm going to run you through the thing that interested me about it when I heard it this morning. That they were talking about the end of cash. So the Bank of England have issued a warning that the need for cash, actual physical money, might be, running surplus to requirement. Like young people now don't use as much cash as the older generations do, and the Bank of England are making this warning. There might become a time where banks are going to go, it's not even fucking worthwhile for us to give out physical cash because that many people just do it on credit cards. So let's shut this bank, and they need to be really... Like, let's shut this local branch, not the whole bank, but let's shut a local branch now, it's because nobody's coming into it. And let's just make everything cashless, onto cards and onto phones and all that sort of thing. And they're trying to warn people, governments and stuff like that to go, we need to kind of get a move on here and make sure that in rural areas and, like the islands and all that, especially in Scotland, that they're equipped for it. If this could potentially happen, that they're going to be equipped for it. Now, that was the first thought, and I just kind of thought, that's a really, really interesting concept. It's one thing that you wouldn't really think about, and now somebody said it, you would go, oh shit, yeah, like how much, like I get paid in cash, so I don't really use the bank as much, but when I worked in Stirling, when I lived there before, everything went into my bank and I had nothing in my wallet. I had not a single penny in my wallet. It was always on cards and it was always on my phone and all that sort of thing. So I totally understand where it's come from. I thought it's a really interesting idea, man. That's something that you wouldn't really think about. But then there was a second thing that then I thought about, just like kind of after. I think I went for a piss or something like that, and what went away from it. Sorry to be graphic about it, but that's what I done. I went for a piss, and I started thinking more about it, and I was like, who was it from the Bank of England that said it? This is me thinking, by the way. This isn't me just going off on a fucking tangent again. I was like, who was it that said it in the Bank of England? They said it was some woman. It was a woman, and I was like, so it wasn't the governor of the Bank of England. So who? Because that's Mark Carney, who's dude. He's a man, not a woman. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyway, I was like, who was it? Who was it that then announced it? And then I went back and I looked at an article for it. I actually went up and searched an article, and it's the Bank of England's chief cashier. What the fuck is that for a job? The chief cashier of the Bank of England. How do you even fucking apply for that? I sat there and thought, I really hope that like her name's Brenda and she's like worked in Tesco for like 60 years and like the Bank of England just chapped up one day and went, listen Brenda, you've been doing this cashier business for fucking ages, man. You want to come be a member of the Bank of England? or they send her out. They send her out into places to kind of like an undercover cop. Do you know what I mean? To sort of like sit there and go, what are the consumers doing today and all that sort of thing. Anyway, but that was just my second thought today because I thought that was funny. So Brenda, or whatever the fuck her name is the chief cashier. She's saying that cash is fucked essentially. So if you live in somewhere in the islands or something like that, then go get a card. Go get a bank card anyway, and then, I don't know, go get broadband. Okay, okay, I know that people in the islands have got broadband stuff. That was a fucking joke, alright? It's a fucking joke. Everyone sat there. If this is going to be like the thing that comes back and bites me, isn't it? If I'm successful, people are going to be like, Craig doesn't like islanders. He says we don't have broadband. Apparently every islander sounds like they're from Glasgow Uni as well. Yeah, we don't have broadband, but listen, it's a joke, man. Alright. My coffee's fucking freezing. Sorry, I've got a wee thermal cup there. Oh, look, how nice does that sound? It's like we're sat in a coffee shop or on a Saturday morning over a muffin or some other sort of savoury breakfast. That's nice. Anyway, I am totally off on a tangent. I am talking utter shite. Right, gonna move on to the music I've been listening to. Alright. Right, so this is going to be a little bit different as well from the last podcast. My coffee is getting colder, like, by the second. And if you're a fucking physics geek and all that and be like, yes, Craig, that's how heat works, then fuck off, right? It's getting stupidly cold, alright? And there's no milk left, so I can't go and repair it. I can't make another cup of coffee. Anyway, this is how this is going to change. For the music that I'm listening to, I'm going to kind of run the line a bit, and I'm going to potentially copyright strike myself. So if this gets ripped off YouTube, then it's on SoundCloud, alright? Because they'll be like, stop using people's music and stuff. Well, listen, I fucking know these people, alright? So I've not asked them if I can use their music, but they'll be fine with it. They'll be fine, maybe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the music that I've been listening to, and I'm going to play it in the background instead of me just go and listen to this song, because you probably won't fucking go and do it. Do you know? Because you'll be like, oh, he talks shite anyway. He thinks that people from the islands don't have broadband. He's a prick. But I'm actually going to play it as well. So if you listen to it and go, or I'll play it while I talk about it, and you can go, oh yeah, I actually quite like the sound of that. I'll go and listen to it. So this is the first song. Okay, crank it up. It's playing off my phone, so it's not going to sound fucking brilliant. Okay, it's not going to sound great, but just so you get an idea of the song. So, like I was talking about before, JR, who is the guy who I was talking about with the gig sort of thing. This is his band, this is Made of Eyes, and they've just released their new single called Room to Breathe, and I think it sounds fucking great, and I'll tell you why it sounds fucking great, because it's produced by Bruce Rintoul, Bruce Rintoul, who is the guy who's behind Twin Atlantic songs. He was one of the producers on Father Son's Open Book album as well, so this guy fucking knows what he's doing. But yeah, I think this song's great. Chorus is great. It sounds like that kind of rock that I grew up on, like You Me at 6 sort of stuff, and that kind of. I think there's a gap in the market for bands like that, and these guys do it really, really well. And they're from Scotland as well, and Scotland doesn't really have a big appreciation, I feel, of bands like this. We're so ran down now, especially in rock music, indie bands and kind of new wave punk bands. I don't think that there's really listen, I get it from being in the electronic scene. I don't think there's much of enough bands, I should say, that I was going to say there's not much of a need or a market for this kind of music, but that's not true. There's just not enough bands that sound like this. So yeah, Room to Breathe by Made of Eyes, and I think it's really, really good. The other musician who I've been listening to is also a Scottish one, which is cool as well, from Edinburgh. And none of this is new, the music that I'm going to let you listen to here, but I have just picked it up. I just kind of went back and listened to it again, just because when I was making, with me making my new album at the minute, I was just kind of listening for textures and listening to little things like that. And I like to go through people's music who I do really appreciate and are independent musicians, just to kind of hear what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? It kind of sparks some interest. So this is Globocop, which firstly is a fucking brilliant name. But she's a sort of like trap artist, I think you would call it. But hip hop artist all the same from Edinburgh. And firstly, beats are amazing. But see this line delivery, it all kind of sounds like this. Yeah, it's like really fucking creepy. I love that. Like, it sounds insane. Like, it's just so like creepy sounding, and every song that she's released, sounds like that. It's like, here's Tina, which is the top track. Like, listen to the delivery. So fucking creepy, but I love it. I absolutely love Globocop's music, and also thank you very much for the inspiration for some of my new music. Like, it doesn't sound like that, but like that kind of really creepy delivery and stuff like that. I've been fascinated by it, absolutely fascinated by it. So there's your two tracks. So two things to listen to this week. You've got Made of Eyes, his new single, which is Room to Breathe, and the one that I originally let you listen to from Globocop, which is this one. Let me just grab it back again. This one. Let me zoom into it a bit. This is Mr. Nice Guy by Globocop. So there's your two pieces of music for this week. Let's move on. Let's fire back through. We got through the music pretty quickly. I didn't waffle too much, which is good. Films I've seen this week. Now, I've watched quite a lot of films. This could be quite a while. Okay, so we're now moving into the films that I've seen section of the podcast, but we're on Instagram right now. Fucking right now. Just want to show you on Instagram this while I'm recording. We are actually, look, we're recording the podcast right now. There we go, it's happening. I don't have a mic stand with me today, so just before I start the films, this is my mic stand. A roll of kitchen roll. It's a roll of kitchen roll. Great. So films that I've watched this week. I have watched quite a bit actually this week. I've watched old films, like films that not old films, like not like classic films. But I've watched films that I've seen before and just kind of went, oh, I need to watch that again. So the first film that I watched is new. It's a new film. It's called Triple Frontier. It's on Netflix. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna run. Just make sure that uploaded fine. There we go. There's the Instagram. Just want to show you on Instagram this while I'm recording. What's this? There's music. Am I still playing? I'm still playing Globocop. dear. Anyway, the film that I watched was Triple Frontier, which is the new Netflix film. Ben Affleck in it, which his name Oscar Isaac as well, and that dude from Narcos. He's one of the cops in it. I can't remember his name though. Pena, Espinosa. I'm just fucking picking Latin sounding names, aren't I? I think it's Pena. I think his name's Pena in Narcos. Anyway, it's a brilliant cast, great cast. And it's all about a police officer who is in like the Mexican drug police or like anti-narcotic police, and he's tracking down this drug lord. And anyway, he comes to the end of his spell in Mexico, trying to catch this guy, and he can't catch him. So come the end of it, he's like looking for a way that he can. This guy, he's investigated everything that he's done, all the horrendous crimes that he's caused, all the just all this horrendous shit which is going on, and he feels as if he can't leave this place until he catches him, until he's got him behind bars. And the way that he does that is, or the way that he attempts to try and catch him, is by calling a group of his friends back together who are ex-army, like special forces, like for the US Army, to do an operation to go and catch him. And because he's a fucking drug cartel, he's got a shit ton of money, so it's like, let's go and catch this guy, we'll do it under wraps, nobody needs to know about it, and we'll go in there, we'll kill this guy, and we'll run off with the money, and we'll just make it out almost as if it was like a gang versus gang sort of thing. Somebody's came to payback, and we'll run off with the money, and you'll all get a nice payday out of it. So that's what happened. That's pretty much the principle of the film. But I mean, it's alright. It's totally one of those films that washes over you. The acting in it is good. It's not great, but it's good. And I feel like that if you were to put lower class of actors in the film, it would be terrible. It's only just because they've got such a well experienced cast. Because the writing in it is okay. The structure of the film is a bit all over the place. I feel like that if a screenwriter like a Jed Mercurio done it, it would have been much better. But it just didn't flow very well. But it's action packed and all that, and like I said, it's a film that washes over the top of you. But not in a sense. Like, usually that's a meaning for it being shit, but it's not. It's good. It's certainly watchable, and it's a good film. But it just does kind of wash over you. There's nothing that's gripping you from start to finish, really. Not even the big scene of when they actually go to hunt him down. Even that doesn't grip you, which is slightly worrying for a film of that, where that's where it's kind of trying to reach that climax. Do you know what I mean? But if I was to rate it, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Tolerable. Satisfactory. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. It's 6 or 7. Give it a 6.5. It's in that sort of region. An 8 would be like great, be a great film. 9 would be a brilliant film. 10 would be like utterly amazing. So 6. I'll go with 6. And then, like I said, 2 older films that I'd already seen, which I've rewatched this week, are Source Code and Apollo 13. Now, how to talk about Source Code in any... If you've seen Source Code, you'll understand why I'm having a bit of a tough time to sort of give you a synopsis of it without giving any of it away. Let me think. No, right, fuck it, I can't. I can't really give it. I can't really think of a way to. I'm not going to give it away for you, but I can't really think of a way that I can justify telling you the ins and outs of it sufficiently. Let's just say the US Army. There's a terrorist attack has occurred in Chicago, and the US Army have developed a piece of technology that could get to the bottom of this terrorist attack, but after it's happened. That's all I'm going to give you for it, because you should go and watch it. It's on Netflix. Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. He's fucking brilliant in it. He's fucking brilliant in everything, but he's really good in this. The idea of the story is really, really good. The whole process of learning the story and the actual development of the film is great. It's like when I talked about Get Out in the first podcast. It's one of those where it's fairly long, but goes in very, very quickly. I think it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think it is. I think it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it goes quick. It really does go quick. So yeah, totally recommend that. If I was to give that a score out of 10, I'll give that a 9. It's a brilliant, brilliant film. Don't think it got much love at the Oscars or anything like that, though, the year it came out. It came in like 2011 or 2012 it might have been, which I think was around about the same time that The Hurt Locker came out. I actually rewatched The Hurt Locker as well, funnily enough. I totally forgot I watched that. It's not even in my notes. And Source Code's a better film than The Hurt Locker. Hurt Locker I would say is probably about an 8 out of 10. It's the film, the Jeremy Renner film, where Catherine Bigelow's the director of it, and he's a member of like the bomb disposal unit. You know, the guy that wears the big kind of juggernaut suits to go and defuse bombs. And he's a bit of a hothead. You know what I mean? He's a bit of a live wire. This Jeremy Renner's character, bit of a rebel, you could say. But it's not as good. It's not as good as Source Code, and I'm pretty sure they would have been out around about the same year and would have went head to head with each other. I'm almost certain that Source Code didn't get a single nomination, which is a real shame because it's a great film. So yeah, I'll give that a 9 out of 10, and I'll give fuck it. I know I've not really spoke about it, but I'll give The Hurt Locker an 8 out of 10. So you should watch both of them. Again, they're both on Netflix actually, and then the last one, which is also on Netflix, which is an Oscar nominee, is Apollo 13. Apollo 13 is. It's one of the most incredible stories ever. And when the thing is, it's actually, I remember reading something about the Mandela effect, which the Mandela effect is the idea that people think that Mandela died in jail, which he didn't, because obviously Mandela was released. But it's that kind of skewing of history. You know, they think that the outrage comes from that, and why Mandela was such a figure was because he was fighting against apartheid and he got jailed wrongly for it and then died in jail. That's the kind of idea that people get of it, the kind of misplacing of history, which obviously isn't true because he got out. Apollo 13 is another case of the Mandela effect. If you say Apollo 13 to people, most people will think that's the one that landed on the moon. That's Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the other cunt that nobody knows. But that wasn't. That's Apollo 11. This was Apollo 13 was a year after Apollo 11. The one that landed on the moon, and this was to go and explore the ground and the soil. Well, not soil. You would call it soil investigation, but it's not, because obviously it's the moon. So ground investigation, you know, whatever the ground is, they were going to go and do that and collect moon rocks and all that sort of stuff to bring it back to NASA and analyse. But Apollo 13 went fucking horrendously wrong. It's actually where the saying "Houston, we have a problem" came from. That famous saying. That's where it comes from. It was from that Apollo 13 flight. Essentially what happened was that there was a coil that was broke in the oxygen tank. Oh, listen to the birds chirping. How nice is that? How lovely is that? I'm in the centre of Glasgow as well. How lovely is that to hear the birds chirping in this urban jungle? Oh, how arty urban jungle. Fuck off. Back to Apollo 13. A coil was loose in the oxygen tank and exploded, and ripped a hole out of the side of the spaceship, and they had to do this incredible rescue mission to get them home. Now, I'm not really giving it away because it's one of the biggest. If you know about the Apollo 13, then you'll know about the actual story of it. It's one of the most incredible stories in, you know, space travel ever, because they should never have made it back, but they survived. They survived this. You know, they lost a shit ton of fuel. They were only able to fly on 20 kilowatts to make sure that they weren't burning out the electricity and burning out the fuel cells. And so 20 kilowatts is round about the same as what you use with a kettle, you know, to boil a kettle. Stupidly low amount of power. Also, another fun fact, which isn't in the film, obviously, because firstly, the technology I'm about to talk about wasn't invented, but the Apollo 11 landed on the moon with the same amount of electronic capability that was in an iPhone 4. That's so the iPhone 5 or the 4S. When the 4S came out, it had more electronic capability than what we fucking landed in the moon with. How mental is that? So you're talking about that they were trying to land back after an oxygen explosion, which you can imagine would have been pretty fucking powerful. An oxygen explosion, they got back on 20 kilowatts of power, or watts, just watts of power, I don't think it was kilowatts, but 20 watts of power, which is less than your kettle, right, to boil your kettle, using technology that would be in an in an iPhone 4S. It's absolutely mental. I mean, I'm sat here with an iPhone XR, right? How much more technology do you think there is in that than what they used in these lunar shuttles in Apollo 11 and Apollo 13? I mean, like, probably stupidly low amount. A stupidly low amount. Honestly, man, it's just like, it's totally mind-boggling, totally mind-boggling, and it's a great film. It's directed by Ron Howard. Actually, now I've thought about it, I think that Ron Howard won the Oscar for it. I think he won it for Best Directed. Almost certain. But it's a brilliant film. It's a great film, and it's one of those sort of classic films, obviously, because it's an Oscar winner. I say it's a classic film, it's from the 90s, do you know what I mean? But it's definitely worth a watch, but I don't think it's better than Source Code. I'm going to give that an 8 as well. In fact, I'll give it an 8.5. An 8.5, because it's slightly better than The Hurt Locker. Well, no, it is better than The Hurt Locker, but it's not as good as Source Code. So I'll give it an 8. So there's your 3 films, and your 4 films, technically, was it? Triple Frontier, which I gave a 6 out of 10, which you can get that on Netflix, because it's a Netflix film. Source Code, which I gave a 9 out of 10, which you can also get on Netflix. Hurt Locker, which I gave an 8 out of 10, which you can get on Netflix. And Apollo 13, which is an 8.5 out of 10. And again, you can get that on Netflix. There we go, that wasn't too hard, was it? That wasn't too bad. We got through that pretty quick. Right, we're going to go into TV shows then. We've got a shit ton to talk about in the sport, and then fucking all the rest of it. Okay, so, sport. Not sport, talking shite, fucking TV shows. Jesus Christ, Craig. He takes 1 week off the podcast, doesn't record. I did record the podcast, but it was, like, that was supposed to come out last Wednesday, but it was shite. You know, and now I've got loose. I've lost the professional sound to it, okay? It doesn't sound as, it's not as professional sounding anymore. I've fucking lost it. I've went off. I'm all over the place, man. I've Apollo 13'd it. I've bombed into the sun. That's not what happened. But TV shows, not sport. We're going to jump into TV shows first. First thing that I want to talk about was the finale of Still Game. I know it's been a couple of weeks, right? Since, was it last week actually? I think it was it last Thursday? No, it must have been 2 weeks. What a perfect way they ended Still Game. Still Game, if you don't know, Scottish comedy. It is the gold standard of Scottish comedies. It's just, nothing will be as funny as Still Game. Ford Kiernan and Greg Hemphill, who are the guys who wrote Chewing the Fat, which a lot of Scottish people will know as well. They took 2 characters that they had in Still Game called in Chewing the Fat called Jack and Victor, and made the TV programme Still Game about 2 old guys and their kind of escapades with them and their friends. And after God knows how long Still Game was in TV, I should probably know that, but it was well over a decade, being the most loved Scottish TV comedy. I mean, in Scotland, we literally use like sayings and catchphrases and quotes from the show in our everyday talk. Like, that's how much of an influence this show had. I remember watching my first episode of Still Game in primary school. Like that, I mean, I'm 22 now, so do you know, that's a long, long time ago. And do you know how I first ever watched it? This was a thing that I was going to talk about. Like, it was going to be in my thoughts for the day, and like the podcast I was originally going to release. I got a Still Game DVD, the first episode, out of the newspaper. Remember when they used to do that? You used to get CDs and like DVDs out of the newspaper. Why is that? Why is that died? I know that we don't use DVDs as much anymore, and it probably costs a shit ton to develop them and get them out, because obviously papers don't make any fucking money anymore, and probably quite rightly, because they shot themselves in the foot, didn't they? But remember that? I remember getting a Prince album out of a newspaper. I can't remember what one it was, but I got a Prince album in the newspaper. My gran kept it for me. Didn't think my gran was a Prince fan, but I remember my gran getting it. Strange. What the fuck was that? Somebody shooting a pea shooter. I hope you heard that. Listen, seeing the second podcast that which I was going to release but didn't. There was like people talking outside and all that, and I commented on it. I was like, sorry, I'm getting put off by those people talking outside. Listen, and literally silence. You couldn't hear anything. So I'm hoping that all this stuff that I hear coming through the headphones, you actually can hear. But yeah, they ended it so well. Still Game. They didn't do it in big fucking dramatic fashion where everyone died and all that, and they flew off a cliff or had a collective heart attack. They finished it with this song by Bob Dylan, which I'd never ever heard before, and it's gorgeous. Like, ends with this song. It's called Don't Think Twice, It's Alright. As all the characters in the show just fade away. And honestly, it was so emotional. It was like that way that you think, how does life end? Do you what the fuck was that? I'm trying to make a really subtle point about the beautiful ending that Still Game had, and somebody's let off a fucking foghorn. Ruined. It's ruined. Botched it. It's been botched. Fuck. The whole thing's ruined. I was going to make a really, really nice point there, being like, the life end, you think life end is going to end in this big dramatic fashion, all that sort of shit, but no. But you just fade away, and that's how they tried to make it in Still Game. But the big fucking boat horn thing, bloody hell. Anyway, it was a beautiful ending. And yeah, what a way to end the show. And I mean, these characters have become almost like members of family for people. I know it sounds ridiculous, but for people who have watched this from a young age, they feel like members of family. And for them to have just left, it's very, very emotional. Very, very sad time, but they've done it perfectly. And, fair play to them. Everyone who's involved with that show, legends, absolute legends. So, yeah, well done for that. Line of Duty's back. I fucking love Line of Duty. Line of Duty is written by Jay Mercurio, who writes The Bodyguard. It's now in its 5th season. It follows the AC-12 team, which is the anti-corruption team. And people fell head over heels for The Bodyguard. I liked The Bodyguard, but I just watched it and went, this isn't as good as Line of Duty. So I don't know why everyone lost their mind with The Bodyguard, but Line of Duty is so good. It's like, honestly, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So for it to be back, really, really interesting to see. The first 2 episodes are now out on BBC iPlayer. So, and I'm pretty sure every series before that is also on Netflix. So if you want to catch up with the Line of Duty series, then I highly recommend it. It is genuinely amazing. And another one this is one I'm going to watch. It's like what I said about Love, Death and Robots, which was amazing. I mean, if I was to rate that, the Love, Death and Robots series, 10 out of 10. Simply 10 out of 10. It's absolutely amazing. David Fincher has nailed it. Animation and everything is great. Oh, I need to stretch. Jesus Christ, that's what happens when you've been up since fucking 6:20. Honestly, it's fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love, Death and Robots, so go and watch that. What was I saying? But the one that I'm going to go and watch, probably start to finish, but I feel like when I get into it, I'll be flying. Fleabag. Everyone's talking about it. I've not seen any of it, but apparently it is absolutely amazing, so I'm going to watch it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's about. All I know is it's kind of like a new wave comic noir, which I'm all about with black comedy, if you want to be black comedy. A black comedy. I don't mean that as in black comedy as in like black culture, as in like Get Out is like a black horror film, not in that way. I mean like by the actual genre of black comedy, comic noir. So that apart from that, I don't know anything about it. I know that the lead actress in it writes it and directs it. I don't even know her name. So I know absolutely nothing about it. So I'm going in with zero opinion of the show and zero knowledge of it. So I'm really looking forward to watch that. But yeah, so Still Game. If you've not watched Still Game, you've got about 9 series to get through. So if you've not watched it, I'm not going to recommend you to go back and watch it. And also, if you're not from Scotland, you probably won't get it. So, but you know, it was absolutely amazing. That's a 10 out of 10 for me. Line of Duty as well. It's a 10 out of 10 TV programme. Love, Death and Robots is probably 11 out of 10. It's absolutely amazing. And I will report back in the next podcast on Fleabag because I need to watch it. Right, so on to the sport. This time, actually onto the sport this time. Not going to fuck it up again. Okay, so first thing I'm going to talk about the Old Firm. if you know me, I'm a Celtic fan. I was very, very happy, very, very proud of Celtic that day. Dug in, great game. As I said, this is so much more. The Old Firm is so much more than just a football game. I know that people hate it when people say that. Oh, it's just a game. Listen, there's something different. It's a different animal, this game. It was a brilliant game. Rangers properly came back into the game. Led to a very, very stressy occasion for every Celtic fan in Celtic Park and around Scotland and around the world in that fact. But they came through it. So that was a moment to be very, very proud of Celtic. And then we were let down by a flare that was flung on the Wednesday night game following it. Someone threw a flare onto the ground and, exploded next to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper wasn't injured. I get how people are like, oh, he made a meal of it and all that sort of thing, but which he did. The goalkeeper made a bit of a meal of it, right? But it's one of those things where it's like, it just shouldn't fucking happen. Stop flinging flares onto the field. And it's now becoming this thing in Scottish football where it's just became a league of that we just chuck things at players and we run onto the park and all that sort of thing. It's like, the Scottish game is so good now. It's amazing. Like, I don't care what anyone says. We've got proper teams in there. Celtic obviously running the show. Rangers are a much better team than they were, like, since obviously the whole administration thing and all that. Or liquidation, sorry, I should say. The whole liquidation of the whole thing. You've got Kilmarnock, who've came out of nowhere under Steve Clarke. He's made them into an amazing team. You had the Murrow team, which ended up at 2 cup finals last season. You've got Aberdeen, who push Celtic and Rangers every single time they play them. So it's just this kind of way where it's like, why are you ruining it? Why are fans ruining it by doing all this stupid bullshit? And it genuinely is getting fit. And that's what I said. I'm not even going to go and attack Rangers fans for it and go like, oh well, like Rangers fans have done this, like racist abuse and all that. But it's from everyone. Hibs are doing it, Hearts are doing it, Celtic fans are doing it. It's just becoming something that's across the whole game, and it just shouldn't be. It's not fucking acceptable, and it shouldn't be happening, right? So everyone needs to calm down. Everyone needs to just calm down and stop making an arse out of yourself and just go and watch a game of football. And it's not there so you can go and flex your muscles and show how much of a fucking lad you are or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or that, I'm hard as fuck because I'm going to run onto the field and I don't care if somebody rips the patch off my Stone Island jacket. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, just calm down. Let's just try and get the game back to where it is. So that's why I wanted to talk about that first. I want to get that negativity out of the way. Second thing that I'm going to talk about, so we can get the negativity out of the way. Conor McGregor, right? Guy said he was retired. I said it. I've said it in podcast after podcast. I've said it in tweet after tweet. I've been a massive supporter of Conor McGregor. It's the reason why I got into MMA, right? It's the reason why I got into UFC. It's all because of him. I'm at the point now where I can't even defend this guy anymore. He does this whole retirement thing, right? And then it comes out that he's been investigated by the Irish police for sexual abuse. Now, I get how people are saying, well, he didn't retire to try and cover the tracks of that. He just retired. He done what Conor does. He comes out and like he tries to create a storm around himself, and he tries to make himself more, or pushes himself more into the public eye than he really needs to. At times, because that's what he is. He's a salesman. He's a salesman of himself and his whiskey and all that sort of stuff. So he does this whole thing with retiring. It turns out that he's actually being investigated by the Irish police for sexual abuse problems. We say, well, not sexual abuse problems. Fucking hell, you trivialise that a problem is like, oh well, it was a minor issue. No, he's getting investigated for a sexual assault on a woman, right? I mean, it's fucking totally unacceptable, fucking crazily unacceptable. But I get how people are like, oh no, that's not the reason why he's retiring. But I'm sorry, but governments do it all the time as well. When they know that bad news is coming out, they drop out something that they think is going to divert people, so that when that news comes out, they're already focused on something else. And governments have done it time and time again. So why should I think that somebody who's got that much media training, that much PR behind them, wouldn't do the exact same thing? Or that somebody wouldn't come and tell him to do that? Come and say that in his ear? So I think it was a cover, if I'm honest. I'm done with defending Conor McGregor. Like the whole thing where Khabib get married, I don't think Khabib get married actually in the week. Khabib Nurmagomedov, who's the guy who beat him in the last UFC fight, the lightweight champion of the UFC. I don't know if he got married or it was like his wedding anniversary or something, but he posted a picture of him and his wife, and Khabib's Muslim. He's from Dagestan, the area of Russia, very bottom of Russia, kind of near the Ukraine sort of area, and all that's right in the hills. But he's a Muslim and has. Listen, I'm not going to pretend I know about the wedding procedures of a Muslim wedding and all that, but anyway, she had this sort of cloth over her face, very thick white cloth over her face, and Conor McGregor goes out and says, your wife looks like a towel. Now, I get very funny, yes, okay, and what I mean by what you actually see, like, yes, she does, because she's dressed in white and she's got this very white thing over her face, and it's like, yes, she looks like a towel, but it's like, you don't fucking say that about somebody who's Muslim, because towel head and all that sort of shit, all these other racist terms that are used with colloquialisms of a towel, you just don't fucking say it if you have any sanity about you, and especially not if you're now apparently a fighter who's retired and focusing on your whiskey business and all that sort of shit. Just stop being a fucking idiot. And that's what he's doing. I've got to the point where it's like I can't even support him anymore. And I know the next time when he comes out and fights, I'll be there and I'll be like, right, come on, let's buck up your ideas. But look at the fucking mess that he has made of his career, man. He's lost the plot, totally lost the plot of what the hell he's doing with his career. So listen, I think he's at the point where I just kind of wish he would retire. I wish he would just go and say, right, I'm going to go and focus on all my business stuff, because that's what I need to do. I don't have the desire for MMA anymore. His trash talk has got to the extreme. Just listen, man, if you're going to fight, come out and fight. Talk with your fists. Don't go out and say all this sort of shit, because now you've been beaten God knows how many times on the trot. Do you know what I mean? Just go out and show what you're capable of with your fists. That's what should be doing the talking, not running your mouth. Like, and listen, we all love Connor's trash talk, especially like the Jeremy Stevens being like, yeah, I'll give him the hardest fight. I'm the hardest hitting 145 up here, and Conor McGregor turns and goes, who the fuck is that guy? Do you know, that's classic Conor McGregor trash talk. But see, after you've been beaten, resorting to things like calling someone like your wife looks like a towel, you know how that's coming across. You're not so stupid to think that, oh well, people aren't gonna. It's just ridiculous as well. And then also after the whole sexual abuse sort of investigation announcement after the retirement, he puts up he puts up a picture on his Instagram of him sparring, and he's looking at he's in Cuba and he's looking at this girl's arse who stood at the side of the ring, right, and making it quite prevalent. That's where it's the whole camera angle sort of, they are trying to catch that image of him looking at this girl's arse. Now it's his photography team and all that, but he then publishes it, and you're like, what the fuck, why are you doing that? It's like, so you're being investigated for sexual abuse or sexual assault, sorry, and you think that the best idea following that is then to retire and then put up this photo. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get what he's going. I don't know what he's doing at the minute. That's what I said. Connor, listen man, go talk with your fists. Don't talk with all this sort of nonsense. We love your trash talk. Everyone in the MMA community loves your trash talk. But now, what way are you going down here? You know, what road are you starting to go down here? But yeah, following from that, also in the UFC, the Barboza and Gaethje fight. It was just as good as everyone expected it to be. It was absolutely crazy, and Gaethje caught him with that right hand and put him on the deck. I was so surprised. I thought that Barboza was going to win it because he just had, and I said that in the first podcast, because he's just got so much to his game. He's got the kicking, he's got striking ability, he's so measured. He's got all of this. I just thought it'd be too much for Justin Gaethje because he's a madman. He just runs in head first and no defence, doesn't care how many times he gets hit. You know, remember that fight with Dustin Poirier? I think it was Dustin Poirier, and he gets rocked. Like, you see the knees stiffen up, he's that rocked. He's totally waving all over the place. He's like totally all over the shop. And he waves him forward. He's like, fucking come on then. I was like, oh, Justin, calm down, man. And I thought that's what was going to happen with this Barboza fight, but nah, went out and starched them. Absolutely starched them. It was brilliant. And then Paul Craig, again. Paul Craig, Scottish MMA, Bear Jew. I met him at the Kings of Leon concert in the summer of 2018. And I said to him, listen mate, no more last minute finishes, eh? Just please don't, because my heart couldn't take it. You know, he's a Scottish MMA fighter. Of course I'm going to support him. Massive MMA fan. I'm obviously going to support the Scottish guys. But again, he'd done it. Flung up a triangle choke in seconds. I've never seen a triangle choke just get whoop, just legs right around, everything locked in, sorted, done. And again, with 30 seconds left to go in the fight, he was out. He was like, I would love to have seen the scorecard before that, you know, before he actually got the finish, because there was no way he was winning that. Absolutely no way. But he's done it again, and he's done it in amazing fashion. So well done to Paul Craig. Probably saved his career in the UFC. So fair play to him, man. And then the other last thing in the sporting news right now, this is going to be a controversial one. It is going to be a controversial one. But fuck it, let's go with it. So I'm firstly going to address the upside to this story, okay? So Tiger Roll won the Grand National. And I can already hear people either going like, oh yeah, great. And other people going, oh fuck no, we're not talking about this. Tiger Roll won the Grand National. He won it back to back. He has now... Tiger Roll's the horse. By the way, if you don't know the Grand National, it's a horse race. Biggest horse race in the world, I would say. Maybe apart from the Kentucky Derby, but it's one of the biggest horse races in the world, and Tiger Rowe won it, and he was the first horse to win it back-to-back since Red Rum, Red Rum's one of the sporting heroes of all time. It was most people would say the greatest horse race, the greatest racing horse of all time, Red Rum, and Tiger Rowe has done what most would have said was impossible, back-to-back national wins. Now that's the positive of it. Now I like horse racing. Okay, I really, really like horse racing. And listen, I will address the other side of it, but just let me get this part off. I backed Tiger Rowe last year at the National, and he won for me. I backed him at Cheltenham this year, and he won for me, and I backed him again this year. I love that little horse, not because it won me money. I don't necessarily bet on every horse race. I just enjoy watching it. I get behind the horses, and I do really almost become a supporter of these horses. And the reason why I love Tiger Rowe is he's a tiny, tiny little horse compared to the big jumping horses like in horse racing. He's tiny, doesn't weigh very much. He's a brilliant horse, and yeah, he put in a great showing, and I really, really like him, and he's gorgeous looking little horse, and so much power, so much grace, and that's the reason. And pretty much everything, Tiger Rowe sort of epitomises everything that I love about horse racing. But as everyone knows, I will come to the other half of it. Up for Review, which was one of the horses running in the race, was tragically killed during the race. When I say tragically killed, it was pretty hard to watch. Here's the facts of what happened. I'm not gonna wash over. I understand. I mean, the chair, which is one of the jumps at the National, is 6 feet tall. It is a huge jump. Like, obviously horses are pretty tall, but I mean 6 foot you're asking an awful lot. And also, if you look at the actual dimensions of a horse, pretty top heavy with very, very weak legs, or very spindly looking legs, So here's the facts of what happened. First fence, they jump over the first fence. Vintage Cloud, which was one of the favourites in the race, goes down, falls in front of Up for Review, which is the horse that was killed. Up for Review goes over the top, falls over Vintage Cloud, and breaks its neck. And you can see, if you watch the video in the background, you can see the horse flailing around in agony. Absolute agony. And it was really horrible to watch. Really, really horrible to watch. I totally understand people's opposition to horse racing, and see, like that, it's the thing is like, there's a lot of controversial things that you get in sport, and there's a lot of controversial things that you get in politics and all this sort of stuff, and usually there's always a retort to it. You're always able to go, yes, but what about this? Seeing horse racing, when the horses die and get killed because of it, I can't think of one thing to come back and say, no. This is you're wrong in saying that this is cruel to horses, for example. I can't come back with it, and that's what I said. I love the sport. I do love the sport. I love the competition of it. I love seeing these majestic animals with unbelievable power, unbelievable grace, and just seeing what they can achieve. Fuck with the jockeys and the owners and all that stuff. It's the horses that which really draws me to the sport. So see, when you see them being killed, it is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And it makes you, and if someone was to walk up to me and say, that kind of horse racing, the Grand National should be banned. It should be banned. Right? I would say, I know, but I don't want it. I don't want it to be banned. And if someone was then to say, okay, so you don't want it to be banned, give me one reason why it should remain. Why it should remain. I couldn't give you one. I genuinely couldn't give you one. I couldn't say, oh, well, because of this, because it... No. There's no... In 2019, horses being killed in a race, it is unacceptable. I understand that, and I am a fan of the sport. I'm a big fan of the sport. It is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And listen, like I said, there's no justification for it. The only thing that I want to say is obviously huge condolences to the trainers, the owners, the stable hands who would have absolutely adored that horse, and I am genuinely sorry that it happened, and it isn't acceptable. And I know that, but it does make me waver on my support of the sport. But congratulations to Tiger Roll, everyone involved with that. That's the two sides of the. It's the two sides of the stone. Do you know what I mean? You look at Tiger Roll, you look at this incredible animal that beats these records and has been trained and clearly loves jumping, clearly loves racing, or it wouldn't, it wouldn't take to the training, it clearly just loves racing. It wouldn't take to training, it wouldn't take to running, it wouldn't take to jumping the fence if it wasn't enjoying and trained and to doing it. But then you look at the other side and you look at what happened Up for Review, and you go, there's nothing really right about this sport, and it is a shame. It is a shame. So listen, I sorry to end the sport on such a fucking down note, but I had to talk about it. And that's what I said. I love horse racing. I probably always will. But I totally understand people's positions. I get how people can be like, oh, well, then you don't love horses if you support horse racing. I don't think that's true. See people who sit there and they're like, and they can go on their Facebook and go, "How you must hate these animals if you do this." You don't know. Firstly, the stable hands, the owners, the trainers, everything, they adore these horses, and they spend an awful lot of money on looking after these horses, making sure that they get the best absolute quality of care for them to go out and run at 3 races a year. Like, so here's the thing: a racehorse would probably run three races a year. Okay, so that's 3 days out of 365 days of the year. See, for the other 362 days of the year that they've got that horse, the amount of money, the amount of care, the amount of everything that goes into looking after that horse is immense. They clearly do care about these horses. I understand the opposition to the sport, but to say that these people don't care about horses is absolute nonsense. If you can sit there and you can type something on Facebook and you can type something on Twitter and be like, oh, you clearly hate horses. Well, tell me what the fuck you've done then. Was it a horse that was abandoned or a horse that was orphaned, or do you donate money to horse charities or rescue charities for? What? Just because you're saying it on Facebook, just because you're saying the Grand National should be banned on Facebook, that you think that you're now the protector of them, or that you love your horses more than these trainers? So I said, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you and say that, well, the Grand National shouldn't be banned, because there is a massive part of me that thinks that, well, probably it should be. In 2019, you shouldn't be having horses flying over for our entertainment. Now, like, in what other major race? Here's for example, here's a good analogy for you. Sir Eric, who was a horse that ran at Cheltenham, which died. It was the hot favourite. I mean, beyond hot favourite. It died in the race. Okay, it snapped its leg going over a hurdle. Not a hurdle, a fence. Going over a fence, snapped its leg. In what other sport would the favourite who die and there wouldn't be a huge review into it? Imagine Usain Bolt died doing the 100 metre sprint. You'd be like, what? We need to seriously fucking look at this. But Sir Eric dies at Cheltenham and it wasn't even in the news. That's not right. That isn't right. So if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna say the National should be banned, jump racing should be banned because it's dangerous for horses, I don't have anything to come back with you and go, well, no, listen, you're wrong. But what I will do is see when you start. I mean, for example, I went on Twitter to the trainer of and the stable hand for Sir Eric, and there was people on there commenting, being like, "You absolutely fucking pieces of filth! How could you do that to such a beautiful animal?" And you think you don't know. You really, really don't know how much love and how much care goes into that horse. Because if you knew these people, I bet you if you took one of those stable hands down to the pub every week, all he would talk about would be the horse that they look after. They absolutely adore these horses. So don't sit there and, don't spout this shite of like, you know what I'm getting at. I've gone on too long about it. But that's what I said. It's a horrible, horrible thing to have happened. And like I said, I'm not going to disagree with you if you think that jump racing should be banned for horses. I'm not going to disagree with you because I can't disagree with you. But I love the sport, and that's just the way of it. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to go into the gigs that I've seen this week, and obviously the gig that I'm going to talk about, if you looked on my Instagram, is my boys Heights. So Heights, if you don't know, are they're the biggest up and coming band, I would say, in Scotland right now. They are absolutely band. I'll say band. Probably the biggest Scottish artist that's up and coming is, of course, Lewis Capaldi, but after that, it's these guys. I met Heights because I was originally supposed to be supporting them when I played my show at King Tut's, which I ended up headlining. And from that moment, I was like, holy shit, this band are amazing. They're absolutely amazing, and I've followed them ever since. I've become good friends with Sam and Adam, who are the two members of the band, and listen, they done absolutely incredible. They played the Mash House. I'd never been to the Mash House in Edinburgh actually before. Great venue. The staff were all lovely as well. I got talking to the bouncer for like 10 minutes outside. Just really, really nice environment and a really, really nice venue. It was great. If you don't know Heights, this is like my favourite song by them. This is DWY, which is Dance With You. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So they were absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. I can't really say much about them, more about them. Do you know what I mean? They're going on tour in Europe, Eastern Europe with, I can't remember who they're touring with, but they were on what was essentially a UK tour, a small UK tour for themselves, and they've been supporting bands up and down the country. They've got a new song which is coming out on Friday, which is called Car Crash Carnivore, which I actually first heard at the after party after we played King Tut's together, and I thought, oh my fucking god, that song's amazing. So they're finally releasing it, so I can't wait to hear that when that comes out on Saturday. And I'm going to be meeting up with Adam actually on Thursday afternoon when he gets back off the tour. So don't worry, I will tell him, because he won't fucking listen to this, but I'll tell him in person just how fucking amazing they were, because I didn't really get to see them much after the gig. But yeah, that's the only gig that I've been to see this week. What I'll do is I'll give you the shows that are coming up for the week. So Wednesday, when this comes out, on that night will be the Nina Nesbitt show, which I've talked about in the last podcast because I got the dates fucked up. At SWG3. Thursday, Mariscans are playing at Stereo, which will be amazing as well. Saturday, Good Cop, Bad Cop are playing at King Tut's. Also on Saturday, Bears Den are playing at the Barrowlands. So there's the 4 shows that I've got on my list of shows to go to this week. So just to repeat, Nina Nesbitt, Wednesday the 10th of April at SWG3. Mariscans on Thursday the 11th of April at Stereo. Good Cop, Bad Cop on the 13th of April at King Tut's. And Bears Den on Saturday, also the 13th of April at the Barrowlands. Right, and that's pretty much all I've got to talk about. That was essentially just me going, heights are fucking amazing, and here's some gigs. So, yep, we'll just get battered through right into the last part of the podcast. The food that I've eaten, so I've got 2 weeks to tell you of places that I've eaten, and then obviously the drink that I've had this week, and then we'll just do the outro ads, and that'll be the fucking end of the podcast. So, food that I've eaten this week, Paisano's Pizza. If you haven't eaten Paisano's Pizza, just stop fucking about and go. There's one just off of the Glasgow Modern Art Museum in the centre of town, and there is one on Great Western Road, just up from like where the old schoolhouse is. In fact, it's just over Kelvin Bridge, actually. That's probably the best way to describe it, just up from Kelvin Hall. It is the 7th best pizza in Europe. That's how good it is, and that was voted by a food review magazine. It's the 3rd best in the UK. That's how good this pizza is. It's just, the restaurant environment is not great. It's very, very busy all the time, and they really cram the room, and it's just not very comfortable. You know, it's not a very comfortable surrounding. I mean, you're literally, it's like a school hall. Like, Paisano restaurants look like school halls. That's how many people are in them. But listen, the food is amazing, absolutely amazing. And I got the way that Paisano's works. If you've been there, it's numbered systems. So you order your pizza by number. So I can't remember what pizza I got, but I know it was number 4. If anyone knows what that is, it was a sort of spicy pizza, and like I said, man, it was just fucking amazing. Got a Birra Mora with it as well, which is like old Italian lager. Oh man, it was brilliant. And the thing is as well, is it's so cheap. The most expensive pizza at Paisano's, remember, we are talking about the 7th best pizza in Europe, 3rd best in the UK. The most expensive pizza on their menu is £8. I mean, it's mental. It's so cheap. But it tastes fucking amazing. So, listen, best pizza in the town, by far. And then we're going to switch over to Istanbul, which is in the south side of Glasgow. Best chicken kebab in town. If people who know Istanbul will know how good it is, but see if you walked past it. I remember when I first walked past it, going through the south side. It's on Paisley Road West. I remember walking through the south side past it and going, that looks like a fucking, like, stay away for that joint. That look food poison central. That looks like fucking arse trumpet central, right? But fucking hell, I actually went in there drunk. Right, it was the first time I got something out of it. Went in there drunk because I was like, fuck, I'm good, try it. And then I got a chicken kebab, and it was amazing. And then everyone went like, and anyone that I've spoke to about it who knows Glasgow probably a bit better than me has been like, it's the best. It is the best chicken kebab you can get in town. And I went, well, yeah, I agree, but I didn't expect it. And they're like, yeah, well, that's just what it is. I was like, fine then, but holy fuck, Istanbul chicken kebab, go and get that. And I've got 2 kind of controversial ones, right? So, like I said, Celtic won on Sunday. Me and my brother went out for a couple of pints, but we didn't because we ended up in the casino at like 5 o'clock in the morning. But I know. But best kebab in the town. Now, everyone who since I've been going to Glasgow, like going to nightclubs and going to bars and all that, if I'm going home, I go to Best Kebab. That's where I get my food. People are always like, nah, man, no, it's fucking sketchy as all hell. Sketchy as fuck. No, I'm standing up for it, right? Best Kebab is fucking Britain. There's people who are sat listening to this right now and they're going, Best Kebab, shite. No, you're fucking wrong, right? I really, really like Best Kebab, okay? It's not as good as Paisano's. It's not as good as Istanbul. I just like it, right? And I hadn't had the Best Kebab in ages. I'd not been out in Glasgow in a long, long time. Like out on a sesh, but I mean Celtic one, so I had to. But it was like the first time I had Best Kebab in ages, and I got chips, cheese, and doner meat, and it was like dirty. It looked dirty, and it was like tasting sweet relief. Sweet relief. I'm pretty sure that reduced my hangover by about 70% the next day. But listen, people are sleeping on it. People are sleeping on Best Kebab. And here's my really controversial one. I got a KFC the other day. I love KFC. Or I did. I used to go on a Friday lunch when I was in 5th and 6th year at school. I used to go to KFC for my lunch. And it was just, mwah, perfect. Mwah, perfect. Absolutely loved it. Got a KFC the other day. Shite. KFC slipped, man. KFC's really slipped. And people who eat KFC, you'll know. Quality slip, man. Chips were never good. KFC, most people would have known that. Chips were always shite. Not great still. Chicken soggy. It's not good. Didn't enjoy it at all. Did not enjoy it at all. So KFC, man, fucking step your game up. There's so many good chicken shops that are kind of opening around in Glasgow. But the reason why I don't go into them, right? And it's genuinely not, it's not from like a racist intent or anything like that, but because it seems to be like chicken shops are opening in old Indian shops. Do you know, like Indian takeaways with the same staff, but they're now making fried chicken. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I can't remember what it is in Glasgow. There's one in Glasgow and it used to be an Indian, and like, and I'd never been into it, but like I remember walking past it and seeing it was an Indian shop, and I remember like there was two guys and they were outside smoking. They used to always be outside smoking when I walked past, and the place shut. And the reason why I knew they worked there is because they had the uniform on and all that, and they were outside at the front smoking. And I went past not that long ago. It was now a chicken shop, and it was the same fucking guys. So like, you just can't. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't fucking convert. Do you know what I mean? Like just because you know how to make a fucking mean vindaloo doesn't mean you can make me fried chicken strips. Do you know what I mean? It's really strange. It would be like a French guy, right, opening a French restaurant, right, going there for a couple of fucking years now, right? He's got the full top hat idea, you know, like hey, what's his name, Gusteau in Ratatouille, you know, the full fucking hat idea and all that, and the apron, you know, the professional chef jacket, being like he has a French restaurant, and then like a couple of months business is going down the toilet, and you come back, he's in fucking shorts, he's got the Star Spangled Banner around him, and he's now doing American burgers. It's like that. You'd be like, oh no mate, come on, I wait to fuck. That's what I'm getting with the chicken shops in Glasgow. So if anyone knows a really good chicken shop in Glasgow, because that's what I say, I'm too scared to try it, let me know, because I want to find out. And then the last thing, beer that I've tried this week, Sam Smith Taddy Lager. That is a great fucking pint, by the way. Really, really is a great fucking pint. I'd never tried it before. It's not like as good as a West. It's not as good as a Brewdog. It's not, but just as a lager, it's still kind of got the hoppy sort of taste to it. It's still got the kind of bold taste to it, but it's not massively there. Do you know what I mean? It's not massively there like the West and all that. It's just kind of subtly there. I really fucking liked it. I was really surprised at it. So that was my beer for the week. I've not got like amazing things to talk about. I'm not like going to be like, yeah, this is like, go out and get this beer. It's just like if you're in a pub and you're like, oh, I don't know what to get, and you see on a font Sam Smith Taddy Lager, just go, aye, fuck it, I'll try it because it's good. Do you know what I mean? That's just my advice of direction for you. But then another one that I tried, and I remember having this at a Super Bowl night, and it tasted much fucking better than this did. Than it did the last time. Brooklyn Lager. Brooklyn Lager's shite. Like, it's really fucking shit. I won a case of it at a pub quiz, right? And I remember, and like I said, Super Bowl night, I had Brooklyn Lager, and it tasted lovely. It tasted really, really nice. And then I've tried the one from the case that I got shite. Every single one of them. There's like 4 different varieties of beer, and I thought, oh, well, maybe it's just because, you know, maybe it's just because it's I don't know. Maybe it's just this one lager that I've tried. You know, maybe I've just tried one Brooklyn lager and it wasn't a nice batch or something like that. And I was like, nah, fuck it. And then I tried another one. That was shite. Then I tried another one. That was shite. They're all fucking shite. The only one that's sort of tolerable is the blue one. I don't even know what the blue one's called. But, rest of it. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. But yes, anyway, there we go. 1 hour and 40 minutes. Jesus. This is what happens when you kind of minorly abandon the plan. This is what I was trying to do. This is the change that I've made from the podcast. You can tell me if you like it or not. The first one had a plan, very, like I said, I want it to be very, very structured. To so much of a point that it was almost too structured. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't have much heart in it. It just felt a bit flat. So what I've done with this one is I've tried to kind of loosely have a plan, like look at the plan, but not really, commit to it. Not fully go overboard with it. And I feel like I might have. I think I've done better. Hopefully I've done better. Comment if you think I've done better. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. You're not watching, you're listening. See, look, I'm talking about having the fucking plans and all that, and I can't even get my words right. Thank you so much for listening to the second Behind the Mic podcast. I do really, really appreciate it. Before we go, let me just run over the ads again. My new album, With the Absence of Light, was released in November of 2018. Is out now. It is available on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, every single place that you can stream music. It is there. It was listed in the top 100 albums of 2018. So hopefully you enjoy it as much as the people who reviewed it did. On top of that, you can also get my debut album if you like more pop sounding stuff. That's Robots and Machines. You can get that on Spotify, Apple Music, and all the rest of it as well. And yeah, hope you enjoy that. If you want to keep up to date with everything that I'm doing, if you want gig announcements and all that sort of stuff, make sure to like my page on Facebook. It's Craig Russell Horn. The photo is me in the balaclava. It's the exact same as my Spotify profile picture as well, so you won't be able to miss it if you've been listening to my music on Spotify. If you want to keep up with daily updates, the best place to go there is Instagram, which is at Craig Russell Horn. If you want to just see me tweeting about nonsense or retweeting music that's going on about Glasgow and just all that kind of stuff, that's mostly use my Twitter to support other acts and stuff. So if you're looking for more new music, go over to my Twitter, which is at CRH_music. And with that, all that there is left to say is thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week. Tell me if you liked this new style of the podcast by liking the video or commenting down below. And yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully see you on my Instagram, hopefully see you on my Twitter, hopefully see you on my Facebook, liking and sharing and retweeting and liking and fucking and then and fan and and doing all that kind of stuff. But if I don't see you, then I'll see you back here next Wednesday. Thank you so much, and speak to you all soon.